Feet, do your stuff when the game is way too tough. You don't have to play, just look down and say, feet, do your stuff. Caught in the buff by a brute who cuts up rough. You do best to fly, grab your pants and cry, feet, do your stuff. You'll find it comes in handy when you're in an iffy spot. It's better to play and run away than stay and risk getting shot. Don't try to bluff, there just isn't time enough. Kiss your lover goodbye, zippy zipper and cry, feet, do your stuff. Oh, brain, go to work, can't you see what dangers lurk? Just forget your shoes, you got more to lose. Feet, do your stuff. Oh, hands, must you shake now that brain is wide awake? Just forget last night, 'cause it's no supply. Feet, do your stuff.
I've known Jay for 21 years probably now. Like a lot of things with Jay Landesman, we constantly disagree about the exact dates, but it's been probably 2 decades now. We met at a club in London at Groucho's, and I still remember very much the first time I met him. I was actually talking to a literary agent who was visiting from LA. And we were having a very serious conversation, and this bizarre chap with a fedora and a white beard came wandering up, slightly drunk, tipsy anyway, and said, "What's happening?" or something. And I sort of said, "Would you just fuck off? I'm actually talking to business here," and pushed him away. And that was my first encounter with Jay. He's a fixture, and then I don't remember the second time we met or how we came about, but the first thing you know is we had a lot of friends in common, and who would have known? 10 years later I wound up writing a script about his life, taking him to the Cannes Film Festival. So we went from becoming 2 people who just about had a punch up in a bar to being 2 people who spent a lot of time in bars, in Groucho's in London and also in France.
He'd love to be different too, but he's more bourgeois than I am.
He's not the easiest person to travel with. He does like to have somewhat be the center of attention, not surprisingly. But he's good value, so we don't mind. But I've got a couple of simple ideas about Jay that not everybody agrees with. One is I think it's fundamental that he bores very easily, and that could be a bad trait in certain people, but certainly for somebody you're spending an evening with, it's a good trait probably, because he always is looking for fun. And he always likes something to be happening, some activity, new faces, new conversation or something, and he's good value. The other thing is that although he's had an incredibly rich life and done an amazing number of things, he rarely talks about himself. He actually wants to hear, at least be involved in the moment. So he's not a person who spends all his time regaling you with how much he's always done. That would be boring. But he's always out to meet new people, and I think it's obvious from his life that he all the time is meeting new people. Over the years I've been in many parties at his house. The number of people who come strolling through is quite phenomenal. I think it's on record that at one time he was a kind of social highlight on the calendar for all kinds of Americans who were visiting, and that's partly still the case. He's connected to so many people that anybody who's in town normally will look him up and drop around. And at Jay's house, certainly the door is always open in every sense of the word, so people are forever dropping in at every hour of the day and night.
Jay was the youngest of 4 children and was named Irving by his parents. Ben, his dad, and his mom, who we know only as Cutie, had a family-run antique business. As a teenager, Jay read F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, and he felt such a strong connection to the novel's main character, he changed his own first name to Gatsby's. So Irving became Jay, And he aspired to Gatsby's same lifestyle too, essentially a playboy. Jay's always been upfront about his major life goal being to just have fun. He'd do just about anything to stay amused. Jay's a man who was always either in the middle of or in search of a great project. As a young man, the place that Jay found the most exciting was New York City. He used to go there on buying trips for his family's antique business, and he would hang out with all the bohemians at bars in Greenwich Village. He'd also go to Harlem because he loved jazz, and that was the real deal. He was often the only white guy in a club there. Jay got some of his fashion inspiration from the flashy dressers he met in Harlem. Whether it was a zoot suit, a custom-tailored 30s-style pinstripe jacket, today you can usually find him wearing an ascot and perfectly tilted hat. Between Jay's natural charisma and his great sense of style, people were always drawn to him. Jay kind of collected these very entertaining, bright, but really offbeat people. In 1948, psychiatry was just making its way into acceptance in America. It had already become fairly hip, though, with the young intellectuals. The younger generation wasn't afraid to talk about their anxieties, and this all really fascinated Jay. Jay founded a magazine called Neurotica that he published out of New York. It was unprecedented and without peer at the time. Jay tells a story about how he came up with the name. He thought about what main quality his friends shared, and he realized they were all neurotic. So he added an A, and Neurotica, the magazine, was born.
Psychoanalysis was still very big when I was growing up. And I had a lot to complain about. And then I got interested in psychology, Neurotica, the magazine, and I was looking for people who had something to contribute, who had a shtick that they contributed to my understanding of what it all was about. Neurotica, the authentic voice of a beat generation. 1948. 1951. This is stuff that I published. Kenneth Patchen, he's a poet, a beatnik. Baby for a bonnet. I took very neurotic stuff and put it into print. Neurosis at the mirror. You can't find a dead child with a lantern. Weird title. Alistair Kahn, The Folding Chair. Writing about folding chairs. Institutionalized lynch. This guy G. Langman, who was the real authority, the real wild man here. Who did a lot of the very important work that this magazine did. I went to a lot of psychiatrists in my time, and
How was that?
I enjoyed it. I got sold on it, and I got into that just before I got into the bar business, and it was something that it was right for the time.